It was a random Friday night, 3rd grade. I remember it all too well. I was sitting on the couch, probably playing Minecraft on my busted up Xbox 360, when my older sister, who was an adult at this point, came into the room. "Could you beat this for me?" She handed me a white and red 2DS with Pokemon Moon already booted up. The absolute bewilderment I felt as she left the room was immeasurable. My siblings never asked me to beat any games for them ever, so it was definitely an odd little event there. The slight glow of the screen illuminated my face as I made the on-screen character wander around the town it was already in. I wandered into a barber shop and styled my hair, and then went to a clothing store, as you do. I was just in awe at the customization options because I had never played a game with character customization before. Ever, at all. I really only played Minecraft, and we're talking 360 Minecraft, so it was very limited. Then I walked into the grass and wild Pokemon began attacking me. My starter Brion and I fought back again and again, and we came out victorious. Yes, my Poplio was already a Brion by the time I got the game, but you know what, it is what it is. I didn't even know what a Poplio was at this point. I just thought it was just a Brion. That's just how it was. As the game continued, I gathered more Pokemon in my party and made friends with the nice NPCs along the way. I blinked and the weekend was over. I'd beaten my first ever Pokemon game, which even though I hadn't played a lot of games, it was not the first game I'd ever beaten. That would go to Skylanders. I can't remember which one, but I beat that game multiple times for no reason. Just kept replaying it for no reason. When I went back to school on Monday, I felt so lonely because none of my other friends had played Pokemon Sun and Moon, and most of them had never played any Pokemon game at all. So it was okay, guys, have you seen the new legendary, the Pokemon Moon legendary? And they're just kind of Pokemon, what's that? I didn't really have anyone to talk about it with, and I couldn't afford another game, so I tried to move on from thinking about Pokemon altogether. But before we move on with the rest of the story, hello everyone, my name is Fiendy, and in the background I'm drawing my characters as the main character and rivals from Pokemon ZA, which comes out tomorrow. These characters are from a webcomic that I'm currently developing, which doesn't have a release date yet. If you like webcomics, or maybe you just like my really bad horrible art, check out my Instagram, link in the description. Anyway, back to the video. The year was 2020, and a certain really bad illness was going around and had the world in a frenzy. Like everyone else, I was stuck at home and doing online school. Nothing other than that to do. Nothing at all. And then bam, I remember my 2DS because of a little game called Pokemon Sword and Shield on Nintendo Switch. Practically everyone was making videos on it. It looked like so much fun, and I felt so left out because it was dude, there's a giant cake in that game. Snorlax turns into a volcano, and I'm just sitting here not playing Pokemon at all. I haven't played it in years. No, that won't do. That won't do. It carried over that same art style from Sun and Moon with the added bonus of having big free roam areas. So there were certain areas that were multiplayer completely and utterly, and you just go there and catch Pokemon, and other people be running around, but they were ghosts. It's kind of weird. You just walk right through them. Literally did not matter for whatever reason. Loved it though. Fantabulous. Of course, I didn't find out how fantabulous it was until years later when I could afford it, because unfortunately I didn't have a spare $400 to fork up just to play one game. So I did what any sane individual would do, and I opted to pay $40 for a digital version of an older game on a console that I already owned, and that game was Pokemon X. Pokemon X and Y was the first Pokemon game to do a myriad of things, okay? This was a real trailblazer. It was the first game in the franchise that introduced fairy types, Mega Evolution character customization, and party XP share, though I could be wrong about the last one, but I remember reading that years ago, probably misremembering what the actual article said, but that's what I'm pretty sure it said. It was also the game that introduced one of my favorite Pokemon, Finnegan, the fire starter of this game, because every game has a water, grass, and fire starter. And the lore, don't get me started on the lore. You got a bunch of kids running around France investigating the weird phenomenon happening to Pokemon during battle, all while this evil group of people are hunting for legendary Pokemon to fuel this machine that can destroy the world. Did I mention the immortal homeless man that keeps showing up but is definitely totally not related to the plot at all? Yeah, that was wild. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I beat this game in about 2 days. I had to battle the Elite Four multiple times because I honestly refused to level and just trapped myself in the cathedral-like place they were in as I remember it. After beating the game, I attempted to complete the Pokédex, but with no avail. Farming for all the needed Pokemon was easy enough, but I had no friends, so the version exclusives were out of my hands, unfortunately. I did try the trade system, but by the time I was playing the game, all of the posted trades were just hacked Pokemon. That's only purpose was to temporarily crash your system. Ask me how I know. Collecting the hidden legendary Pokemon was one of the last things I did before I decided to move on from the game because it was time. The fanbase was dead. I was like the only one there. Wish it wasn't that way, but that's how it was. Pokemon X is still one of my favorite games ever. I don't know why. I like the aesthetics, the, like little chibi people. 10 out of 10. If you have a favorite Pokemon game, comment it below. I love to see everyone's different takes. I want to know what your favorite Pokemon game is. Tell me. And tell me why. Almost immediately I moved on to another Pokemon game, and that was because I was lucky enough to find a physical copy for a reasonable price. That game would be Detective Pikachu. The GOAT. Love it. We all love Detective Pikachu here. I mean, come on. You have to. If you say you don't, you're lying. Now, I must say that I did watch the movie first and did fairly enjoy it, but the game was my favorite out of the two because I feel like there was so much more content, a lot more lore, I feel like. Detective Pikachu was an interactive story game, such as those that the studio Telltale Games used to release. I just want to say that I feel like I'm in an alternate universe because apparently those dudes are still around, even though I thought they were shut down like a long time ago. They dropped like Minecraft Story Road, dropped off the earth. Apparently they're still around. Anyway, you would walk around with Detective Pikachu and find clues regarding various mysteries, all of it building up to one big mystery at the end. I don't exactly remember how it ended, but I do remember that the ending was a lot different than the movie, so like, just go play the game yourself somehow, find a copy. They're probably lying around. I don't think that game did super well, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it did the greatest for a Pokemon game. This game took me about like 2 all-nighters to beat, if that means anything. I just remember like being sleep deprived, groggily, like playing the 2DS, you know, that's hooked up to the wall because it's about to die, and then like, you know, hallucinating faces. Happens to the best of us. Even though I don't remember much about it, I absolutely adored it at the time. I hit another small dormant period of my Pokemon phase after this. That was until I got my own phone and began playing Pokemon Go. Pokemon going to the polls. Am I right? Am I right? Pokemon Go is basically just like any of the regular Pokemon games, except it has less story with more emphasis on traveling around to catch different Pokemon. Anyone who was playing Go during 2020 knows that it was at its peak, absolutely. They held the first ever portable Go Fest that was wherever you were. Usually they would hold it at one specific place every year and you would have to catch a plane if you wanted to make it. Go Fest, since I did not write it down in my script for whatever reason, was basically an event where they would have all these different rare Pokemon around so that you can catch them, and usually they'd just have it in like a big open field in some like random location. You'd have to get a plane ticket, buy a ticket to Go Fest, fly all the way over there, and then you can like catch and they do other stuff, I guess. I don't know who's going to Go Fest, to be honest, when they were doing that. No clue. I do not want to hang out in a giant field. No thank you. The portable Go Fest was basically like, it just brought the Pokemon to you. They would just spawn different Pokemon every minute. There were tons of them. You had to pay like $10 or something for a ticket, which was basically just to enable that feature in the game. But yeah, my friends and I ate this event up. We all camped in my living room and ate snacks as we caught as many rare Pokemon as possible. Days, months, even after the event ended, we would all go around and brag about how we had tons upon tons of rare Pokemon that no one else had. I traded most of my Pokemon off to my friends so that they could get the Dex entry and for certain Pokemon, so probably don't have that many rare Pokemon anymore, to be honest. I haven't played Go in a long time at this point. We would walk around empty ghost town like parks, because again, this was 2020, to battle gyms, catch common Pokemon for their candy, and sometimes we would even see another group of kids doing the same thing. And then we would like play tug of war with the gyms. It was so much fun. There was this one occasion where we took over a gym right after some kid had gotten it, and he got so mad he slung his scooter around to scoot away, I suppose, and instead hit himself right across the ankles and fell to the ground. It was hilarious. To this day, one of the funniest crash outs I have ever witnessed followed. Dude just sank to the ground, gave up. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. By the way, if you enjoy these videos, subscribe. I will be making plenty more of them in the future. Even though this is my first, it's not gonna be my last, I promise you. My Go phase lasted for a long time, and in the middle of it, I finally got a Switch. I was still broke, mind you, so I decided to start with the first Pokemon game for the Switch. Let's Go Pikachu. I don't know why I try to do things in like a chronological order, I guess that's what you would call it. I try to play games like, you know, as they were released. I don't know why. It just like, it clicks better with my brain. Let me just preface that I hate this game. I hated it. I still hate it. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu was basically a remake of the first Pokemon game. with the exception that it had an awful screwy way of throwing Pokeballs. Yay! When you went to throw a ball, it would bring up a menu similar to Pokemon Go. Using a Joy-Con, you would motion towards the console as if you were really throwing a Pokeball. I really wanted to just throw it, I wanted to launch the Joy-Con into the TV screen, to be honest, because that's how frustrating it was. This is really fun. Maybe the first 3 times you do it, the actual mechanic itself, but after a certain point, it just bogs down gameplay and playtime and becomes such a horrible thing. You will hate it. The farthest I got in the game was right before the fight with Giovanni, and then I quit, never to touch it ever again. Part of the reason I struggled so bad was because I wasn't used to the limited choices of Pokemon. There are only 151 Pokemon in the original game, so that's how many there were in the Let's Go series. Being someone who has only played as far back as Pokemon X, I was spoiled with many options, and many of those being easily obtainable legendaries. You literally had Mewtwo, you had Zygarde, so easy. I feel like there was like one more that you could get easily in X. Mewtwo's literally just chilling in a hidden cave. Like, that's it. I've never played any of the original pixelated Pokemon games, but I'm guessing from this game, they used to actually be somewhat difficult, because this one was kind of crazy. After rage quitting Let's Go Pikachu, I finally got Shield. Why Shield? Zamazenta looks stupid, is what a lot of people asked me at the time. And to that I say I chose Shield because everyone else around me was choosing Sword. And no, it wasn't for exclusives. I'm just a contrarian. That's it. That's all there is to it. And oh my goodness, was Shield amazing. Traveling through the obviously British-inspired region was an experience I will never forget. There's a beautiful forest, which specifically comes to mind when I think about the aesthetics of this game. Within the forest roam many fairy types. There's a haunted teacup and a cotton candy colored unicorn. I love the Ponyta exclusive for this game. Love it, absolutely. I don't know why, just something about it. It's just so bonita. I don't know. The exclusives in this game were everything to me. I mean, have you seen Alchemy? Not really an exclusive, technically a new Pokemon, but it literally turns into a giant cake. Like Gigantamax is into a giant cake. You tell me you don't like that. That's amazing. How could you not love that? When it comes to story, I remember absolutely none of it. This is one of those games where the game mechanics themselves definitely outranked the story. I could go as far as to say, for me, that Sword and Shield was the opposite of X and Y, being that X and Y had a really good story, but it was way too easy. A lot of people said that it was way too easy. Game mechanics were kind of lacking in X and Y. Not really innovated on a whole lot other than like XP share from what I remember. The game mechanics were so good for Shield, however, that was the first ever Pokemon game where I completed the Pokédex, including the DLCs. And no, it was definitely not as hard as you would think. And also you got like a little crown, which was like really cool. I had a crown. None of my other friends did. For a majority of the version exclusives, I just transferred Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home and then to Pokemon Shield. And I think my Pokemon Home is still filled with like random Pokemon because I haven't used it since. And also I transferred a bunch of Pokemon to Pokemon Home from Shield because I was doing like a whole like leveling, trying to get the perfect Pokemon of certain types, right? And then they just banned those Pokemon from Scarlet, so I never transferred them. It stinks, but it is what it is. I spent a long time playing Shield. Like, I really took the time to take everything in completely. I love the DLCs. The giant free roam area with the big tree was my favorite, and Keldeo was on my team for like the remainder of the time I played. Once I finally finished absolutely everything there was to do in Shield, I went back to playing Pokemon Go as my main source of Pokemon. I did buy Brilliant Diamond when it came out and played it for a bit, but I didn't really feel that spark that I felt with the other games. I soon lost interest in it, unfortunately. It really didn't help how bad people were ragging on it for no reason. It wasn't a bad remake by any means, but people were still complaining, oh, it's this, it's that, it looks like this. It wasn't even made by Game Freak. Dude, who cares? It's still a Pokemon game. I still love it. A few months after, the first Pokemon Legends game was released, Legends Arceus. Because of the contrarian I am, I did not play Legends Arceus at all. People wouldn't shut up about it, and of course when that happens, they have to go back and bash all the other games. I promise you, you can say you really like something without tearing something else down and making other people feel bad about it. It is possible. You can do it. I believe in you. Now that's all said and done, I might look into playing into the future. Maybe. Hopefully I grab it before it becomes like a relic, and then people are selling it for like $500 like they did the old Pokemon games. The exact same year they released Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It was literally like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, November. January was Legends Arceus, and then November, the same year as Legends Arceus, they released Scarlet and Violet. I vowed that I wouldn't play this game because the community was going absolutely rabid. And the same sister who gifted me Moon and my 2DS gave me Scarlet for Christmas to prove me wrong. And prove me wrong, she absolutely did. So much so that I finished this game in 3 days, which it's been years at this point. It has been a long time since I had done that. I still haven't done that since that game. Scarlet fixed a lot of the problems that I had with the recent previous games. Had a wonderful story, banger mechanics, and it added new elements in its own way. I know a lot of people complain that it was laggy. It was really laggy. It's still really bad, even if you're playing with the Switch dock. But I still enjoyed it, and I still beat it nevertheless, because you can just look past all the other things. I, for one, love that most of the cast is just from this big school. Like, it's literally just a big school on an island type thing. As far as Pokemon games go, your character never goes to school. You will see schools around and have quests in school, but most of the time that's it. But in this game, the region is famous for its school because its school is like world renowned, which is like cool. We haven't seen anything like that in Pokemon until this game. Unpopular opinion, but I also like the school uniforms. Gasp, I know. And I like the different versions have the different uniforms and themes. And I think they also have different names, right? Like, one of them's like orange in Spanish and the other one is purple in Spanish, I believe. And I love Gold and Go. Unpopular opinion, I know. The amount of collecting coins wasn't even an issue for me because I just got them as I finished my Pokédex off. Like, it was that easy. You just wander around getting Pokemon, you do the same thing. I love that he throws coins at people and surfs and looks like one of those inflatable things outside of a dealership. He looks just like them. And I also really like that our legendary Pokemon is a mount. I think that's fire. I know. A lot of people didn't like the animations for Koraidon, but I like that it's just a big lizard, and that's it. Even the NPCs were phenomenal and memorable. I had a friend who was simping for Grusha big time until they found out that Grusha was actually dude. Still absolutely hilarious to me, I'm not gonna lie. And literally everyone loves Larry. I don't know anyone who doesn't. I like that we kind of had two rivals in this game with Arvin and Nimona, and then a secret adversary and our very own friend Penny. I love that. I love that stuff. Give me the friend groups, please. That's something I love about X. There was just a friend group. It's so much fun. It feels like we have more than one leader of our opposing organization in this game as well, because they are given unique looks, personalities, and backstories. I love that. I feel like this game had so many more characters than the games usually have. So that was like definitely a big thing for me. Character designs are overall top tier. Obviously, if you've seen any of them, you will know. And then there's the music. Pokemon music is usually superb, but holy crap, did they crank everything up to 1 million for Penny's battle theme. I know folks who complete every Pokemon game that absolutely gave up at Penny's battle because that's how hard it is. It was insane. I lost that battle so many times, but it just made me try harder with rage. Like, I was not rage quitting. I was rage going forward. That's what it felt like. Not only did I complete the game, but I also completed the Pokédex and every item in the game. Even though I pre-ordered the DLCs, by the time they actually came out, my love for Pokemon was in its dormant stage again. And it's been there for a while now, ever since I completed the game. Since Legends ZA is coming out soon, I've been trying to work toward completing the DLCs for Scarlet. But ultimately, I don't think I will be able to in time. Unfortunately, because there's a lot in those DLCs. I'm not gonna lie, there's like 2 whole Pokédexes I need to get to. There's like 2 whole storylines, side quests, all that. I don't even remember how to play the game, so it's like difficult. The Pokemon franchise has been around since way before I was born and will probably continue to be a thing way after I'm gone. Have you seen how people go feral for the card game part of it? Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But I have so many fond memories of the wonderful world of Pokemon that I will cherish forever. Like when I used to wake up early to watch Pokemon X and Y on Saturdays. Or how the kids used to trade the cards on the playground with no idea how valuable or what each card even was. I got a Gen 1 Ponyta from somebody one time. I did not know what that meant. I still have it. I don't know why. What do I know? I'm just some dog. I just want to give a big thank you to my patrons. What's that I hear? Crickets. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have patrons yet. Well, if you're interested in my comic or future storytime videos, check out my Patreon. YouTube storytimes are posted early over there. You can even display your Patreon username at the end of videos where we are now, all for $5 a month. There's even a tip jar tier if you just want to support me once or even monthly. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.